Hi everyone and welcome to a new Lost Ark video. I'm Koshido and today we are going to talk about team synergies. In my last video I did a PvE tier list and class overview and I talked briefly about team synergies. In this video I'm gonna show you in detail those team synergies because I think they are very important for the endgame content. You can find a link in the description for this cheat sheet and you can also find a link for the maxroll.gg article where they talk about team synergies and where those images are taken. Okay, so in my PvE tier list video, I talk a little bit about the team synergies and I use the term burst to indicate a short window of time where the buffs takes action, and constant to talk about buffs which has very high uptime, which is almost always on. So let's look at the flat damage burst buffs. The Berserker has the skill Red Dust, which gives 12% increased damage for 6 seconds, but it has a low uptime. This is what I mean burst. For a short window of time, 6 seconds, you will get a big buff, and then he has a long CD before getting ready again. The Shadow Hunter has the same buff with the skill Hole. The Gun Lancer with the skill Shout of Hatred gives to the team 3% increased damage, 9% increased back and head attack damage for 12 seconds. Keep in mind, these buffs usually are a tripod you actually select from the skill. So be sure to read your tripods, your skills before going on a raid, before trying to use any of those skills. Next, we have flat damage constant. So the Scrapper gives 6% increased damage with Fierce Tiger Strike, Crushing Smite, and Judgment. It has a 8-second duration, but it has a very high uptime. That means you either have a low cooldown on the skills, or you have multiple skills that can apply that buff. Next one, Soul Fist, 6% damage with Energy Release and Pulverizing Palm. Energy Release has a 16 seconds duration and medium uptime. This means it has longer CDs compared to Pulverizing Palm, which has 8 seconds duration and a super low cooldown. The Sorceress has Dancing Flame and Whirlpool Lightning, which both gives 6% increased damage and last for 8 seconds, and they have a high uptime, very low cooldown. Sharpshooter, Rapid Shot, and Atomic Arrow, 6% damage, 8 seconds. That blade with Spin Cutter gives 3% damage and 9% head and back attack damage. It lasts for 10 seconds and he has very high uptime. So as you can see, to balance the team composition, they gave the same team synergy to many classes. The Deathblade and the Gun Lancer have similar team synergy in this case regarding the increased damage, but the Deathblade has a very high uptime, meanwhile the Gun Lancer has other team synergies. Okay, let's move on. Defense reduction for the enemy. Artillerist with Summon Turret gives 12% defense reduction, it lasts for 6 seconds and it has a very high uptime. The Gun Lancer with Bash gives the same buff for 10 seconds instead of 6, and it has a very high time. Crit rate burst, the War Dancer with Roar of Courage gives 18% crit rate for 8 seconds with a low uptime. The Striker with Lightning Whisper gives 18% crit rate for 6 seconds with a low uptime. The Gun Lancer with Lance of Judgment gives 10% crit rate for 10 seconds with a low uptime. The Bard with Oratorio gives 12% crit damage for 6 seconds with a low uptime. Crit rate constant, only the Deadeye and the Gunslinger gives 10% crit rate with many skills for somewhere between 6 to 12 seconds with a high uptime. This is considered almost always up. Next, utility buffs. The Deathblade with Maelstorms give 15% movement speed and 20% attack speed for 6 seconds with a low uptime. The War Dancer gives with Wind Whispers gives 16% movement speed and 8% attack speed for 6 seconds. The Gun Lancer with Nelasia's energies can give either 20% attack speed or 24% shield for 6 seconds with a low uptime. The Soul Fist with Energy Release gives 25% damage reduction for 6 seconds with a medium uptime. Regarding the stagger damage, Artillerist with Napalm Shot can give 20% stagger damage for 4 seconds with a low uptime. Meanwhile, the Scrapper with Critical Blow can give 20% stagger damage for 6 seconds with a low uptime. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the Paladin and the Bard buffs. So the Paladin has Light Shock, which gives 10% increased damage for 6 seconds with a very high uptime. Wrath of God gives 15% damage buff for 8 seconds with a low uptime. Heavenly Blessing gives 15% increased damage and MP regen for 8 seconds with a low uptime. And Holy Aura gives 10% damage for 15 seconds with a low uptime. He also has defense reduction, shields, and other utility like that. Bards, however, gives 10% damage with Sound Shock for 4 seconds with a high uptime. Harp of Rhythm gives 10% damage for 10 seconds with a high uptime. Heavenly Tune gives 15 damage for 8 seconds and as well 8% attack speed with a low uptime. Sonic Vibration gives 15% damage for 5 seconds with a low uptime. And Serenade of Courage can give 5, 10 or 15 damage for 8, 12 or 16 seconds. It really depends on how much you charged your identity with a low uptime, of course. And the Bard as well has the damage reduction, shields and heals. But these are the damaging buffs. When in the tier list I say they have good team synergies, I mean they have a kit where the buffs they give to the team are very useful in general. And in terms of the raw damage, maybe Berserker, Shadow Hunter and War Dancer are the best. Berserker and Shadow Hunter gives the most damage buffs. Easy in a short windows, yes, but keep in mind that during the hardest bosses, you can't really do sustained DPS that often. So it's better focus everything on a burst window of damage. Also, the War Dancer gives you crit rate and attack speed. This is why it's very good. Also, the Deadeye Gunslinger 10% flat crit rate is very good. As you could see, team synergies are very powerful. It's very important to build your team around a good synergy, and also when you are making your PvE build, it's very important to take the skill that gives your team synergies to the party and to make sure to use the correct tripods. And that's everything for today's video. I hope you found some useful information. If you have any question, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I will do my best to answer as fast as possible. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want more content like this, and see you in the next video.